You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com. Welcome to the Chris Spangle Show. I'm your host, Chris Spangle. This is a podcast about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We talk about a wide range of subjects, from libertarianism, comedy, podcasting, and what makes us human. Mostly, this is a conversation between friends, and thank you for being here. This is a podcast brought to you by the We Are Libertarians Network, so please be sure to rate and review us on iTunes, like us on Facebook, share this episode with friends, and support us through PayPal or Patreon at wearelibertarians.com. We are supported by listeners like you, so $1 per episode by pledging $5 a month helps us grow. We are always taking your questions and comments via email at editor@wearelibertarians. We are going to start a new direction for the show, so I have to update the intro a little bit. We're going to be talking more to content creators like we have been. I am very interested in the creative arts. Obviously, it's part of my job. And we're going to talk a little bit about podcasting. We're going to talk about movie making like we did with Josh Arnold. And today we're going to be talking to an actress, arguably the prettiest person that has ever been in my apartment.
You are too kind.
Her name is Emily Sweet.
Hi.
You should go to her Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at It's Emily Sweet, and you can see how lovely she is. She's also a very talented actress who is starring in a new Amazon show called Sin.
Yes.
S-Y-N.
S-Y-N.
And you can learn more about it at genesisfilms.com/sin, although the site isn't up and running yet. So maybe at a later date, if you're listening, you'll hear this and go check it out. Now, Emily, where are you from originally?
I was born in Baltimore and then moved to New York and lived there pretty much my whole life until about 3 years ago I moved to the lovely state of Indiana.
In New York City?
Both. So I lived in Manhattan for a little while, and then I grew up near Buffalo, New York.
Okay. All right. So how did you end up in Indianapolis?
I know. Everyone always asks that.
Yeah.
So my aunt and uncle live on Geist. They have a beautiful home, and, you know, they have the pool and the hot tub and the movie theater. So we would always ask to come to visit, right? Because it's a great place to get away.
Sure.
So I was tired of New York, and I called my aunt and uncle and said, can I come, for like an extended vacation, a month or so? They're like, sure, come on down. And I did. Loved it. At the end of the month, my uncle, not really joking, but kind of joking, was like, why don't you just move here? Mm-hmm. Here I am.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So how do you like it?
I love it. I do.
Yeah.
I love Indianapolis because you can do all the sports, all the restaurants. There's everything you can want to do, like in a big city, but it's way cheaper. Mm-hmm. And, people are really nice here.
I was talking to somebody who was from Manhattan this past weekend, and I said, so what's your rent? They said, well, I share an 800 square foot apartment with someone, and my rent is $850. I said, for both of you? He said, no, that's my half.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
That's what I pay $700 for a 900 square foot one bedroom.
Yeah.
And obviously, as you can tell, I've made most of it a radio studio.
And it's awesome.
Thank you very much. I'm nervous because we're building out the new look, and it's just growing and getting more obnoxious in here. So
no, I think it's a great look.
Thank you. Is it weird that I have always wanted acoustic tiles? Since childhood, I've wanted to have acoustic tiles on my wall.
I mean, I'm going to say no.
And
are
you sucking
I'm
up?
glad you have your dream come true.
Okay. I feel like there was sarcasm in that, Emily. I'm not going to lie. I was a weird kid. I can't help it. And obviously I grew up into a podcaster, so I've turned into a weird man. But so you have been an actress for how long?
I mean, I guess professionally the last few years, but I've acted my entire life. It's all that I've wanted to do since I was little. I remember, the Scholastic book fairs.
Oh, those were my favorite. Yeah.
So I would always go and get books about acting and like how to get an agent and things like this. And I mean, at that point, my parents were kind of like, okay, Emily, like, sure. But it's always what I wanted to do. So I did community, theater and high school and college and stuff like that. It was one of my degrees in college was theater. After I graduated high school, I auditioned and was accepted into a professional theater company, and I did that until I went to college. So I've been doing it pretty much my whole life, but then professionally, probably the last 2 years.
Very cool. Okay. So define professionally.
I get paid.
Okay. All right. Because I think when you hear a professional actor, you think you're in Hollywood, you're working on big budget films.
Right.
So at what, like, and I firmly believe that when you do any kind of creative work, you've got to do that work for free for an extended period of time, years,
Yes.
before you finally start to get paid. And when you do get paid, you get paid very little. And then and that's one of the ways that the business weeds people out.
Yeah.
You get paid nothing for a very long time, then you get paid very little, and you go, I'm going to be a dentist.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go do flooring. I don't know. So where are you kind of at in your career?
Well, fortunately, with this new TV show, I will be able to do that full time, and I don't have to go to school to be a dentist or flooring.
Great. So you have a regular job at this point?
I do, yes. I work for 2 surgeons.
Oh, very good. What do you do?
Well, when I say 2 surgeons, I'm not the scalpel girl.
Okay.
I work in their home with their kids and pretty much their life, their calendar,
Got
all
it.
of that.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, because I think medical stuff is gross. So
Funny story. I used to hate like horror and gore and stuff like that. Like I could never watch it. I'd be terrified. And ever since I moved here, when I was visiting my uncle for that month, he would always make me watch these really atrocious things. And now I love it. Now I'm like, bring on the horror, bring on the gore. So medical stuff doesn't bother me.
That's good.
Yeah.
So at what point in your career, I think everybody you start out, it's a hobby, but then there's a certain point where you go, I could actually do this for a living. Have you reached that point yet?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
So when you're kind of starting out and you're doing community theater, it's a hobby.
Yes.
But then you hit a certain point where you go, I think I could do this for a living.
Yeah.
Have you hit that?
Yes. So when I auditioned for that company after high school and I got in, that's when I was like, oh, wow, okay, all of these people that are also auditioning or whatever, and I was chosen, that's when I was like, okay, I can do this. I know I can. And then, of course, always have setbacks in college.
Right.
They were like, well, yeah, you can be in our program, but you can't be in the BFA program. You know what I mean? Like, you can only be in the BA program, whatever. And so then it's like, oh, gosh, okay, well, maybe I'm not as good as I think I am.
Right.
But you just have to ignore that. Like, I always try to think about people, famous people now who have been turned down or, you're not good enough or whatever. But, like, I know that I am, so just got to keep going. So at that point, though, was when I auditioned for that company and I got in.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's something called the imposter syndrome, and I actually learned this from my We Are Libertarians co-host Greg, and he basically turned me on to it. I wish I had the definition pulled up, but it's essentially, even if you're successful, if you're Elon Musk, you feel like you shouldn't be there. Like, you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. You're an imposter, and at some point, somebody's going to figure out what a complete phony you are. So can you talk about how you work through that feeling? Because in an industry where there's a lot of people and sometimes you go to an audition and you just go, wow, this person's really talented. I mean, how do you work through that mental struggle of feeling like you can do this?
Yeah, gosh, that is so hard, especially when you have to audition in a room full of people when you're not going in solo. Mm-hmm. It's like a big room of hundreds, it can be hundreds of people. And yeah, you have, you're the 20th in line and everyone else, maybe there's one dud and the rest are amazing. And you're like, oh my gosh, there's no way. Like, there's no way. They're 10 times prettier than I am. They have more schooling than I do. Like, no way. But the thing I always try to remember is a director is looking for something. Like, there's, just say my blonde hair or whatever. Maybe someone doesn't want the blonde hair. And so that it has nothing to do with my talent, but like, oh, well, we're not looking for a blonde. Like, we're looking for a redhead or something. You know what I mean? So I try not to psych myself out. I have done a lot of things successfully acting wise that I know that I'm good enough. You know what I mean? I know that I can do it. And these other people that I'm auditioning with, they may be better than me, but maybe not. I don't know their history. I don't know what they've done before. And so you just have to have confidence. That's one thing that casting directors always look for too. You can't go in there all meek and mild like, oh, I can do this differently if you want me to.
Right.
You just have to go in there and be like, look, I know that I'm great. I know I can do this. I'd kick ass in this role.
Yeah.
Here's what I have to offer. And because they know too that it's most of the time it's a cold reading. They'll hand you sides and be like, okay, read these for us.
Right.
On the spot. And so then, they know that directors can then direct you later on. And so you just kind of have to have that confidence and be like, I've come this far. I know what I have to offer. Forget about these other people. Sure, they're talented, but there's always going to be talented people no matter what profession you're in. And you just have to have the confidence.
I call it channeling your inner Kanye.
Yes.
And, I didn't even... Personally, I didn't think I was a creative or a smart person until 2015. I mean, I really just didn't like myself or think that I had very much skill or talent. And over the last 3 or 4 years, I've channeled my inner Kanye, and I'm the best podcast producer and host of all time.
There you go.
And it doesn't matter if because in creative work there is no way to quantify that.
Right.
Joe Rogan and Joey have a bigger audience and they do a great podcast, but what makes them better than We Are Libertarians, for instance? And I think in creative work you really can't have that. There isn't. It's not a math equation,
right? 2
plus 2 doesn't. There's a million different ways, and there's a million different. There's people out there who can't get enough of what we do, and if they don't, then that's okay.
Right.
There's other stuff for them to watch or listen. Was there a moment where what illustrated that best to you? Okay, was there a certain audition or conversation where you go, oh, okay, I get it. I need to leave my insecurities at the door and start channeling my inner Kanye because it's not about me?
In college, when, I auditioned for that BFA program and I didn't get in, but then I would do, so I would still audition for roles and, I would get different roles and people would be like, oh, wow, like, I didn't know you could act. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, just because I didn't get into this program, which, not to sound like conceited, but a lot of the people that were in that program aren't doing anything with it today.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, yeah, at that point I was like, okay, all these people, are like, well, you're not really good enough, but I know that I am, and I'm auditioning for other things in college, and I'm getting these other roles, and I'm doing a great job. So just because I'm not maybe in like this prestige, quote unquote, what's the word I'm looking for? Program. I knew then, like, no, you can't let them get you down.
How old were you at that point?
19, 20, and 21.
That's a great age to figure out, that out. I mean, it took me till 32. So you don't get into this program, and then what do you keep doing to further your skills?
Keep auditioning for anything and everything, anything that I, qualify for. So like race, height, what they're looking for. If someone wants a brunette, again, I'm not going to apply for it unless, I say I don't mind dyeing my hair. So, what I mean? So anything that I could get myself into, I auditioned for, whether it was low budget, something that I knew I would never get, something super high budget, but anything I took to build my reel. So I would take that, I audition, I would do it, the best that I could do, take those bits and pieces. This isn't so much for theater. This is because, I'm not really doing that much theater anymore. I'm doing more film. So I would still do theater to make sure that I was still doing something creative that I wanted to do, but then to build my reel, to send it out to, different networks or different agencies, different producers or directors, I would take anything that I could get, do it well, add it to my reel and be like, okay, where's the next one?
Can you explain a reel?
Yeah. So usually if you audition for something, the first step is, to send in your reel so casting directors and all that can see what you've done. So pretty much it's just a short video of everything that you've done, but like the best pieces of it. It can't be like 20 minutes long. Usually it's like a minute or two.
So if you go and do an audition, who videotapes that? Fortunately,
so here's the funny thing. When I lived in New York, it was really hard to audition, I guess, because I had, a full-time job and, running back and forth. It was really hard to do that. But here, you can, well, I guess it has nothing to do with really where you are, but it's just funny that here in Indiana, I've made more steps than in New York because I can just video now. I think, I guess, because of all this new social media and whatever and YouTube and stuff, you can self-tape and then send it in.
Cool.
Which is nice. So that's what I've been doing here. is, I'll audition for something, they'll write me back, okay, do this, you can video it. Like for Sin, for example, that the audition was in Georgia, and I was like, I mean, I can try to make it if you need, but can I do a self-tape? And they're like, sure, no problem, do a self-tape.
So what, do you set up a black background and a ring light and then get to town, or?
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you do a casting, do you have an idea ahead of time of what they're looking for? I mean, do you try and fit what they want, or is it one of those things where if you're trying to pretend to be something you're not, they can see it because they're so experienced?
Yeah, so yes. I mean, if it calls for a Southern accent, then you have to do a Southern accent, right? But otherwise, they're just kind of looking to see what you bring to the character. So a lot of the times, they'll kind of give you a short synopsis of what it is. It's a thriller and someone finds a key and it unlocks a demon or something, right? Mm-hmm. So then you just kind of think, oh, okay, well, take that information and you kind of bring that to whatever the scene is. But a lot of the times, if you go in person, they'll just hand you the sides, it's a part of a script, that you'll read from, and it's a cold reading. Like, here you go. So the good thing about a self-tape is if they send you the sides, you can kind of do it a couple of times and record it and then delete it. I don't like that, do it again. But no, you kind of just have to, I mean, that's what they're looking for, is just what you bring to the character. So it's good to, again, if they have like a disability, they are in a wheelchair or something, it's, right. That's good to know and, add to the character, but no, you don't really want to
here's my best limp.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, what defines a good actor or actress? I mean, how do you learn what it takes? I always hear that it's in the eyes, and I have no idea what that means. But like, if somebody wants to start out acting, what is the attainable goal that you're trying to reach?
To be able to play any character and to pull it off.
So for yourself, a large black man.
You know what? I've been trying so hard to play that. No, so for example, the worst thing is, my character on Sin is a lesbian, right? Mm-hmm. So what is frustrating is if you have someone cast that doesn't feel comfortable then kissing you, like, right. You know what I mean? And it just looks fake, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like, that's the worst. So what I try to do is just, and I guess what you have to do if you really want to be in this industry is you just have to be comfortable. You right. have to, if you have a nude scene, well, you can't like be shy and try to hide, you right. have to just give it your all.
Have you done one of those?
I have not done a nude scene,
okay.
No.
Yeah, because I don't know that I'd ever be comfortable with that, honestly. Although I did try and beat James Neese up once while I was naked, and I didn't mind because he got here early.
Right.
And this is why you got here early. Well, you got here on time. I was late to my own house, as I usually am.
That's okay.
And so the rule here is don't show up early because I'm usually naked. And I was cleaning the bathroom naked, and James came strolling in with a 48-ounce soda, and I walked around the corner with my fist cocked and a towel over my cock and ready to fight, and he was like, "Oh boy!" I was
Here
like,
we go.
"No, this is great. Let's talk about this on the episode." I'm not paying for your therapy. So yeah, you have to be comfortable. You have to be confident. Okay.
Yes.
What are other traits that you need to succeed in acting?
You have to be able to take criticism and direction. So, I've plenty of times I've done something, I've rehearsed it a way that I want to rehearse a scene or the lines, and then I'll do it, and the director will be like, nah, you got to do it. Try it this way. And then, you can't take it personally like, oh, that wasn't good,
right.
because they're looking for a certain direction. They're looking for something. And so it's not that, you're doing it bad per se. It's just they're looking for something different. So you have to have a thick skin because you can do something, a take 20 times, mm-hmm. and it's like, why am I not getting this right? Like, why am I not? What is it that you want? And right. then you're like, oh gosh, I'm not good. I don't know what they want. So you just have to be able to, kind of take direction and criticism and be like, okay, yeah, I'll try it this way. Even if it then again feels uncomfortable or feels unnatural, you still just got to do it.
Yeah. So what is do you run it? Are people mean about it? Like, have you run into somebody who's just criticized you in a mean way and you just melt?
Fortunately, no. No. And if I have, I mean, I put it out of my head because I can't remember.
Right, yeah.
But no, fortunately, I mean, I've definitely not seen eye to eye with a director before. But you just, you have to be nice about it,
In that situation, what do? I mean, do you just are they the boss? You do what they do?
They're the boss, yeah. You just have to do it their way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the director seems like they have a lot of power. They can make or break a movie because what's in their head is usually what gets on film, and if they're not good, then it can wreck a film.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, so have you done movies that you don't like?
Oh, Chris. Yes. Oh, okay. So the first, I guess, like big movie that I've done, big meaning it has a great release, distribution, release or whatever. It's coming to theaters next year and Netflix. It's called Mount Adams.
Okay.
And this was the director that I was referring to.
Okay.
We didn't really see eye to eye in what my character. So I played the lead in this movie, right? It's a thriller. We filmed it in Oregon, in the mountains of Oregon, but it's set in Washington. Based on a true story-ish, true events about like UFOs or whatever.
Okay.
So,
So we're already dealing with stable people.
Right.
Apparently.
Yeah, right. So, we're halfway in the movie. The aliens are out, our friends are dying, everything's going to hell. And then the director would be like, okay, cut. Emily, I just need you to be more monotone, more melancholy. I'm like, what? Oh, okay. I mean, I don't really see why I would do that in this instance when our friends are being torn apart. But sure, I'll be more melancholy.
Right, yeah. So how do you play melancholy?
Chris, it was the worst acting of my life. I don't want anyone to see this movie.
So it's coming to Netflix. Yeah, right. It's called Mount Adams next summer.
Oh, yeah. Right, great. So, I mean, I would just kind of downplay my emotions. I would just kind of more monotone like he asked.
Right.
So it was very boring, Chris.
That was good acting. Honestly, I believed you. You aren't acting right now, are you? You seem like you're having a good time.
I'm
you're not
having a great time.
All right, okay. Don't fake it.
No.
All right.
Been told that before.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
You're not the first woman to fake it in this apartment, frankly.
I'm just teasing.
So when did you decide that you wanted to do film or TV versus stage?
Yeah.
Because I imagine it's a huge difference.
So different. Oh my gosh, so different. So yeah, stage, rehearsals, whatever, but then the night of the performance, it's straight through, and it's really easy to get caught in those, emotional moments or whatever. It's I love it. I do love stage. However, when it's done, it's done. Mm-hmm. Like when the show is over, it's over. When it closes, it closes. The nice thing about film is, you can have it forever. Right? Like you can have the DVD, you can have, whatever. But I like the process of it. It's very challenging. Theater is, it's not easy, but it was easier for me. Whereas it's really hard to have a crying scene. Okay, cut, do it again. Okay, cut, do it again. It's like, I don't know if I can cry anymore. It's really challenging, but I that's what I like about it.
In my experience, there's like the camera, it's not adding 10 pounds. It's you have to do extra lighting. You have to do extra sound. You have to do extra acting.
You do.
What's the jump between real life to film? What's the amplification that has to go through? Does that make sense? Like when you were an actress in your everyday life, like in terms of the way that I'm talking, okay, so like if we were talking in our real life, this is how I would talk to you.
Right.
But when we're doing the podcast, when I'm on the podcast, my neighbors all hate me because I talk this loud. So how do you learn? So when someone tells you be melancholy or be excited, how do you learn to choose those emotions and then amplify it?
I try to just take from what's happened in my real life, so if I have to cry, I'll think about something that's happened and use that,
This interview, for instance.
Chris. But no, it's just, how how do you even explain it? I mean, I guess that's part of, I mean, this might sound kind of stupid, but about being a professional, like you just have to learn how to do it, and it takes time and it takes work. There are times that I'll go home and I'll just cry in front of my mirror, right? To like on cue, like, okay,
that's crazy.
Well, right. But then when you go to a scene, like you have to cry, it's like, okay, I can do it.
I know that feeling I know how that looks. And so if I achieve that feeling that I had, okay.
And like doing things in front of the mirror, to make sure, because on stage, well, especially on stage, you have to amplify it like 100 times because there's people way in the back that are trying to see, right? But on film, I mean, it can be uncomfortable. You could be sitting next to a person, there could be a boom right underneath the table in your personal space, and you have to ignore it, and just continue with the scene. So, I mean, I don't know. I try to take a lot of my personal life into my acting and to get those emotions, but then a lot of it is just practicing. And
tell us about a time that you nailed it. You just walked away from something and you went, that was badass. I'm awesome.
Okay. So I don't like talking about myself, but I am really proud at this moment. It was in college, right? When again, I didn't make it into that program or whatever, and I auditioned for this play called Cocaine, and the director changed it to
Christian film, right?
Of course, yeah. It's very Christian. No. It was a guy and a girl originally, but the director made it into two women to like add to, I don't know, whatever. So it was a theater in the round, so very intimate theater. Not a lot of seats, but it was a packed house, and there is a seat. So what the gist of it was, my girlfriend and I, cocaine addicts, we have no money. We're like at the end of our rope. We don't know what to do. And she is kind of crazy and was like, well, we just need to kill ourselves, right? Like we just need to kill ourselves.
All right. So as your new friend, I'm advising you to get out of that relationship.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, I'm still here. So.
Right, good.
Phew. But so there was a part when the opening night or whatever, we're doing it, and I had to cry right at the end. She like has decided, and I've decided, okay, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna kill ourselves. We'll turn the gas on and go to sleep, and it'll be painless and whatever. And I remember the scene where she slaps me across the face for some reason, and then I like went to hit her, and I didn't hit her, right? Because I realized, oh my God, like this is getting too out of control, whatever. And I just had to start sobbing. And I remember I did, and that night everyone was like, this was such a great performance, whatever. And then all those people were like, oh my gosh, Emily, I just didn't realize that like you could pull that off, and blah, blah, blah. And and I was like, I can pull it off. I know I can. Thank you very much.
That's awesome. Yeah. You play a lot of lesbians.
I do. I do.
Cocaine addict, lesbianism.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about method acting. How do you prepare for something? I don't know if you're a lesbian or not. It's fine if you are. Yes. It's perfectly acceptable in this apartment. I wish Miranda were here.
Right.
But how do you play something that you're not? I mean, how do you, like, if you may or may not have done cocaine, let's say you've never done cocaine, how do you play a cocaine addict?
Right. A lot of research, a lot of watching. So, the movie Blow or whatever. What other movies are there about cocaine? 1,000. I don't know off the top of my head. But just watching, and looking at real life people, I mean, because movies, they're not exactly always real. So just trying to do a lot of research, reading up on things about, little ticks that maybe they have that you can add to the character. Like they have their own certain tick if they don't have cocaine, say, or, whatever. So just a lot of research.
So if you're doing a film, will you go to an extreme in your personal life, like spend a weekend as a lesbian coke addict to prepare for a film?
Well, fortunately, I have dated women the majority of my life, so that comes pretty easy. As far as the coke addict thing goes, I mean, I don't want to have to pay for rehab afterwards,
right?
So maybe I won't go that far.
All right. So you do there are boundaries. Some actors or actresses don't have boundaries. Like they will go and experience that thing so they can get the exam. So like there are boundaries for you in that respect.
Yes, I mean, I wouldn't say a lot of boundaries. Honestly, I'm a pretty open-minded, pretty relaxed person. Like, I'm pretty much down for a lot, but I also don't want to have my own addiction at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So how do you find out about things to audition for?
Sometimes word of mouth, but one of the first things that I did gave me an IMDb credit. Do you know IMDb?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
I know.
Everybody
I
does,
say
yeah.
right. I know. There's some people that I've said that to. They're like, "What's IMDb?" And I look at them like, "Who are you?"
It's movie Wikipedia.
Yeah,
Duh.
there you go. So because I was able to get a credit on that site, I then paid for a subscription, and I get all of the casting calls from like all over the world. And so a lot of the things that I got, like I got Sin through IMDb.
Okay. Okay, so tell us a little bit about the show. What exactly is it?
So it is a crime drama, show along those lines. And they keep us in the dark about a lot. So I only know pretty much what happens in the pilot. That's it. But so pretty much it follows the life of Jess. I play Jess. She escaped this bad past, right? I don't know yet what that is.
Okay.
But I was able to escape it, and I moved to this fictitious town in Pennsylvania with my roommate Jeffrey, who I've known pretty much all my life. He's like a brother to me, but he's like this big perv and has his own issues, right?
Okay.
And which I don't necessarily know about. I meet these new people through my best friend Sam, and what I come to find out, I guess, is that all these people have, deadly secrets of their own, dirty secrets of their own. So everyone that's judged me, why should they? Because they all, it's hypocritical or whatever. So that's all we really know so far about it.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay, so you're kept totally in the dark about what goes on in the show. It's like you hear all the time about like a Walking Dead actor or actress going, "Yeah, I didn't know I was going to get killed," or the Jon Snow thing where Jon Snow comes back to life, and he claims he didn't know, but he also didn't shave his beard and hair or whatever. So you're really kind of kept in the dark about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, because I guess eventually all of our characters intertwine somehow, and we have no idea how or why, or so yeah, we're pretty much kept in the dark. Like I haven't gotten the second episode yet, and I keep Tony, the creator, I'm like, Tony, can you give me, like, come on, tell me something. She's like, I can't tell you. So
why do they keep you in the dark?
They say for more genuine reaction when we're filming, because if we have months and months to prepare, it can get kind of stale, I guess.
Right.
So when they send us a script, we read it, our reaction, then we go in and we film it pretty much, so.
I would need time to memorize lines. I mean, how do you like read a script and then go do it minutes later?
Just, by doing it over and over again. Reading it out loud helps for me. Everyone is different. I don't know how other people do it, but for me, again, without trying to make it stale, and it's different when you finally get in front of your other castmates and do it, because they have different reactions than how you might be rehearsing it in your head. So I try not to rehearse it the same way every time, so I don't get into like that groove of, it has to sound this way, because depending on what the other character does in your scene, it could be completely different. So I just try to read it over and over. My cousin, Rachel, she lives, 6 minutes away. She'll read other parts with me. And so just that back and forth of constantly reading it, you just memorize it.
Oh, okay. All right. So you get a script how long before you actually go and shoot?
Well, that will all change. So we're good. We have to go down for 3 months. It films in Georgia, so we have to go down for 3 months to finish the rest of the season. I'm not sure what that process will be like. They haven't really told us much yet. I'm assuming it takes about a week or so to film an episode. So I'm assuming they'll give us a couple days to prepare and then, do it. But for the pilot, we had a couple weeks with the pilot script.
Okay. So this show was actually picked up by one network and then bought out by another one. So can you talk a little bit about that? I mean, go ahead. Yeah. I mean, so explain the process of a show getting picked up.
Yeah. So Tony, the creator, she's amazing. She wrote this herself and pitched it to a bunch of different people, and it had a lot of interest very quickly. And I know Ion, I think, was the first network that came to her with a deal, and she accepted it. But then Amazon came along and bought it from Ion, I guess. And so now Amazon has picked up 2 seasons of it, which is also really great.
Yeah, that's big.
That's huge. It's huge.
I've heard of Ion, but some of our listeners may not. But everybody, I love Amazon. All this stuff's from Amazon.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so get your Prime membership so you can watch Emily.
I do think, though, with this Amazon deal, it will also be on Netflix, maybe.
Oh, okay.
So you can stream it either way.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So the process takes, you go down, you shoot, let's say you shoot 15 episodes, and that takes 15 weeks?
Pretty much. I mean, yeah, it takes about a week for an episode.
So what do you do with all that downtime?
Well, when we filmed the pilot, I filmed about 13 to 16-hour days. Oh, wow. So there's not, but it was a little different for me because I still have this job here. So I would fly down in the morning to Atlanta, film for the 13 to 16 hours, fly back, work, and then fly back again. So I don't know what the other actors did during that time off, but like say when I was on Mount Adams, we would film, 12-hour days, say. And then since we were all out of state, they put us up in hotels and we would all just hang out, just hang out with each other, bond, drink wine, do whatever, go out, and then
compare notes about castmates, that sort of thing.
Of course.
Yeah. So man, you fly down in the morning. Like, is that an everyday thing where you're flying back and forth?
For the pilot, it was like a couple times a week. Wow. I would do that. Yeah. So exhausting, but totally worth it. And that's another thing too, though, which I just love so much that I'm able to do this, is that working a 13, 16-hour day in my day job, I mean, I would want to rip my hair out, right? Who wouldn't, right? Even if you love your job, it's just like, oh my gosh. But especially, I mean, I do like the job that I have now. I'm not saying anything negative about it, but it's not what my passion is, like what my vocation is. So to be able then to fly down to Georgia, and even though you're flying, you're exhausted, whatever, from even just flying all day, and then working the 16 or 13 hours. I mean, I love these people; they're so much fun. Mm-hmm. They all want to be there too. Like that we're all making like this really great product that you're proud of and excited about. That 16 hours. I mean, okay, do you have coffee? Great, I'm good.
Yeah, I just got done working on a internet reality show that was, and
cool.
It was like a 4-day thing, and you are talking to like it's 50, 60 people, and you're all just hanging out all the time. We became really close. Mm-hmm. You know, it's fun because you're just in close quarters for so much time, and you block out the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So do you keep in touch with people that you've worked on past shoots?
Yes. So with Mount Adams, not everyone, but
why is that, Emily?
It was just, a real crazy experience out there in those mountains.
Let's just, for our listeners, let's just say that Greg Lenz would love the people that worked on this show. Okay?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so there was, on Mount Adams, there was about 8 of us, like a solid 8 of us that were like, what the hell did we get ourselves into? And so we just immediately bonded. And, and every night we'd go back to the hotel and we formed this. And I think Mount Adams might be a little bit of a different scenario because we were put in some compromising situations, we'll say. And so that made us bond even harder, I think. So, yeah, I still talk to, a lot. The majority of those 8 people.
Right.
Actually, all of the 8 people I still talk to, yeah.
That's great. Mm-hmm. Like on what kind of a basis?
Well, so, they're all, some of them are from Oregon. Some of them are from New York. They're all around. So when I go home to New York, I'll go see my one friend Alessandra, who's on the show. Like, she came to Chicago. I drove to Chicago, picked her up, brought her back to Indiana, and she stayed for a couple of days. So I'm filming this new movie, Hold Your Breath. It's a short, it's a thriller. So it's my story, and I wrote a script, and Cameron, who is co-directing it, he was on Mount Adams too as our makeup and effects guy, and he's worked on like King Kong, Star Wars, Men in Black, Cabin in the Woods, like a lot of great things. And so he's coming down, co-directing, doing our makeup and all of our gore and effects for Hold Your Breath and everything. Our sound guy on Mount Adams, he's coming down for Hold Your Breath. And so, we talk all the time.
So it's based on your life, and it's a gore movie?
No, it's not.
Poor thing. You lied about the surgeons.
No, it's not about my life. It's just my story. Like,
Okay.
it's just a story I wanted to write and tell.
Okay. All right. So it's not your autobiographical.
No,
okay.
no,
Right.
not at all.
It's like this horror movie where you're killing people. Like, that girl's in my apartment. All right.
Oh my gosh, no, that's so funny. But which is exciting is that I sent the script to Tony, who does Sin, and she loved it, and she's like, oh well, after you make this a short and it's in festivals and stuff, well, we can pitch it to make it a feature film or something.
Great.
So like, it's really great to be professional, and even if you don't like someone like that director on Mount Adams, to still be professional and polite, because you make connections everywhere, and they you never know how they can help you out.
Right, because you never like. In the creative industry, it's all networking and it's all word of mouth. And in a city like Indianapolis, if you're a dick or you're lazy or you're this or that or you're a great person or you're super hardworking, whatever, like there's always conversations that go on like, hey, what'd you think of working with this person? Oh,
yes.
This person was awesome. They're a great person. Or this person was a Nazi. Like, you just then you don't want them around you, or you want them around you to work on your stuff.
It's so true.
So you have to really think about what you say to people and how you say it and how you treat people.
So true.
Because that one bad instance can make or break your career.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. You can be blacklisted.
Right. Yeah. You're not a communist, are you?
No.
Okay, good. I don't want to throw you out of a helicopter. You're delightful. So now you're going to go and reshoot the pilot for Sin.
I believe so, yes. So since Ion, bought the pilot, and so they owned it, and so now that Amazon has taken over, we have to reshoot it. And I don't know if the entire cast and crew will be back since Amazon has now bought it. I'm not sure. I hope so, but I'm not sure who will be there. And so I think that's also, since now they own it, we have to reshoot it for them, and I think they might be replacing some people, and so that's also why we have to refilm it. But it should be pretty easy since we've already done it.
It's great. What I think is really cool is that, like, you're in Indianapolis, which there's a small film community here, and there's a film festival, Heartland Film Festival, but there's not a ton of acting, not enough that I think would probably support somebody full time. At least from what I can tell. I mean, I'm obviously not in that community. But it's great that you can find those other opportunities and go to other places, and that the internet has made it, you don't have to be in New York or LA. You can be in other places to work. Well,
and as I was saying kind of earlier, and I got a little off topic and then tried to veer back, but like I was saying, in New York, I mean, you're fighting against so many people that want to do acting, right? And it's so hard. And so then to move here, people always, make that joke, like, I can't believe you lived in New York and didn't make it. You moved to Indiana and here you are on a TV show. But it's like, yeah, because I can, I have the internet and YouTube and my phone to film and send it out to, wherever. And that's been so incredibly helpful, which is great.
That's great. That's awesome. So follow Emily Sweet at It's Emily Sweet. It's spelled like you think it's spelled.
Yes.
What are your final thoughts? I mean, is there anything that we left out that I should have asked about the acting industry?
I don't think so, but I guess I'll say, I mean, if I can do it, anyone can do it. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
come
seriously.
on now.
No, and I don't mean that like if I can do it, but I mean, I came from a small town in New York until I moved to the city, and then moved here, right? And it's just like, there's so many people that, kind of make fun. Oh, what, you want to act?
Right.
Oh, you model? Oh.
Yeah.
And you just kind of have to swallow that and, roll your eyes secretly and be like, yes, I am. Like, I'm serious about this.
Yeah.
And just keep going. Because if I would have stopped, at the 50th time someone was like, you're getting kind of older, you should really think about what you want to do. I'm like, well, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, I don't have that problem. But I don't feel like I have a very good radio voice, and that's always kind of like, I don't know. And when I started the podcast 5 years ago, I had worked as the director of the Libertarian Party of Indiana for 4 years at that point, and I had a news talk background, but I still thought, like, it's kind of arrogant of me to say that, like, I have an opinion that people should listen to, and that I'm going to start a show where I'm an expert
But why
on
not
politics,
you?
but why not me?
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, exactly.
And I knew that I had the ability to kind of craft a group of people around me that could fill in my shortcomings. Like Greg is way smarter than me in terms of like the politics end.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm better at the platform building.
Mm-hmm.
I love the gear and the tech and all that stuff. So we work together in a really great way to complement that stuff. But yeah, like there's always that thought of. I see so many young comedians around where I work or at the open mics, and they're really shy about promoting their open. Come see me.
Yes.
Like it's I don't want to brag. I don't want to blah blah. But you're selling a product. If you believe in what you do, if you believe in your graphic design skills, your acting, your podcast, your comedy. Like, wouldn't you want to sell that product and get people to come and consume it?
Chris, that is just so funny that you say that, because when I started, so I have like a private Instagram account. I never use it, right?
Right.
And when I made, so I have a girl in Chicago, like you can loosely say she's my manager, right?
Right.
So she was like, okay, we need to get you on social media and, tell all your friends that it's Emily Sweet on Instagram and this. And I'm like, oh, I don't think I can do that. Like, I'm too embarrassed to do that, because there's still all those people when you finally get it out. What is this, like your official page? Oh,
Right.
Oh, great, Emily. But then now I'm like, no, here, like, follow me. Yes. Like,
Right.
This is, again, it's just all about that confidence. Like, well, if you don't want to follow me, fine, don't. But
Yeah.
this is what I'm doing and I'm getting somewhere. So thank
Fuck
you.
the haters, Emily.
Yeah.
Fuck the haters. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Again, it's at Emily Sweet on all social media. Please follow her. She wants
Thank
you to.
you. Yes,
she
I
wants
do.
you to now.
I do.
And you can check out Mount Adams if you'd
Oh,
like.
God, Chris, no.
But more importantly, check out Sin. You can find that on Instagram and Facebook at Sin Series, SYN Series. So you can find updates on that. And when it comes out, we'd love to have you back and talk more about that
Yeah,
process
I'd love
of
to.
the launching of the show and all that
Perfect.
good stuff. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And again, at Emily Sweet. And we appreciate you being here.